Welcome to the Bridging the Generation podcast, where we connecting music from the past, present, and the future. I'm your host, Malak Arif, and today I got a very special treat for y'all. My next guest, coming straight out of Bedford-Stuyvesant, New York, has rapped alongside artists and producers such as Conway the Machine, Talib Kweli, Benny the Butcher, DJ Premier, Pete Rock, Apollo Brown, Sean Price. I mean, the list goes on and on. Last year, he dropped 2 critically acclaimed projects. One, The Bluest Note featuring Dumbo Station, and one of my favorite projects last year, Milestone. With his immense and impeccable catalog, this brother is not planning on stopping anytime soon, and he's been in the game for about 15 years. So with all that said, it's an honor and a pleasure to introduce to the BTG podcast, the one and only Skyzoo. Let's go. Live from Washington, D.C., man, I have a very, very, very special guest, man. First of all, I want to say welcome to the Bridging the Generation podcast. I'm your host, Malak Arif. And again, today I have a very, very special guest, man. This brother has been killing it in the game, man, for the last 15 years, man, representing that BK, New York, man. One of the illest MCs in the game, man. Words cannot explain how thankful I am for this brother for being here, man. We talk about the one, the only Skyzoo, man. What's going on, brother?
Oh, man, I don't know how to follow that up, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to follow that up, man. But first off, I appreciate the love. I appreciate the breakdown and the kind words and everything, man. And happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy to be here.
Nah, no doubt, brother, man. Like I said, man, after this interview, man, I might just retire, brother. You can't get no. This is the Mount Rushmore, man, of MCs of lyricists in my lifetime, man. I don't want to be that guy of pouring it on, man, but you deserve your flowers, brother.
You know what? I was just about to say that. You know, well, first of all, I appreciate that. Second of all, you know, a lot of times people show love, you know, the way you just did, and they'll be like, man. You know, is the language whatever? Can we say whatever?
Man, let's rock. Let's go, man.
People be like, yo, man, I ain't trying to dick ride, da-da-da-da-da, but I love your music. And I'm like, that's not dick riding at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially artists in my position where you're an independent artist, you know, you indie, you doing everything on your own. You know, you on a certain side of the fence. You not, quote unquote, mainstream and all that, whatever. That's the kind of stuff that fuels us. You know, the admiration or the adulation rather, and the acknowledgement and the flowers and just giving it up and the appreciation. That's what fuels us, you know what I mean? So we need that. So it's never quote unquote dick riding. It's never, you know, I ain't trying to do too much. Nah, man, do it. You know what I'm saying? The same way like you see behind me is a Penny jersey. You know, when I met son, I was pouring it on. Yo, bro, you raised me in junior high. You raised me in the 90s. I was pouring it on because you need that, you know what I mean? We all do. So, you know, I appreciate that.
Nah, man, it's you know what I noticed, man, brothers like you, man, it just seemed like, you know, in my world, man, brother, you at the top, man, you mainstream to me, brother. I don't care about the labels. I don't care about numbers, followers in my world, bro. And when I say, man, I hate to be that guy as far as saying I don't like to be the dick rider, nothing like that. But I'm gonna be honest, man, and niggas gonna think niggas can say whatever they want, but I'm gonna be honest, man. And I know there's a lot of other niggas that feel the same way.
Yeah.
I listen to you more than Jay-Z, brother. I listen to you more than a lot of Nas, brother.
Right. Like, I appreciate that, man. That means a lot, man. I appreciate that.
Bro, your catalog is nuts, man. So look, I want to start from the beginning, Sky. I want to start from the beginning. I don't want to hold you, man, but let's go from the beginning, man. How did you get started, man? You know, with Can you tell the people exactly where you're from and how did you get started?
Oh man, Brooklyn, New York, man, 100%. When I was in high school, my pops moved to Southside Jamaica, Queens. So I did the back and forth. And you hear me talk about Queens in my music at times as well.
No
Because
doubt.
that's our second home. You know what I mean? So I did the back and forth thing, but New York through and through, you know, and I started rhyming when I was 9, you know, and a lot of people see back then it was different because nowadays you got parents putting their 9, 10-year-olds in front of the camera and on SoundCloud or whatever. Back then when you was 9 and you said you rapped, it was a rarity. Everybody played ball. Like everybody, when you was a kid, you wanted to be a ball player. You know what I mean? You didn't want to be a rapper until you was in your late teens or early 20s or whatever. But for me, I caught the bug early. I was 9, you know? So I heard a record called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number by Chi Ali. And the moment I saw the video, I told my mother, I said, that's what I want to do forever. And that was it, you know? And she took me serious. Most parents wouldn't have. She took me serious and was like, whatever you want to do, do it. Like, yeah, go do it. And I went and did it, you know? I started rhyming when I was 9. But, you know, it wasn't like nowadays where anybody could get, you know, download a program on their computer and rhyme at the crib. And that wasn't it. You know, you had to know somebody to get in a studio and do whatever. So I didn't really get in the studio for the first time till I was like 15, 16. And I was like once for the year. You know what I mean? Like it was different back then, you know, especially for a high school kid or whatever. So I really started coming into my own as far as like making little mixtapes and doing little local things when I was like 18, 19, 20. Like that's when I really started doing anything. And nobody knew me. I had a regular job. I was outside. You know what I mean? Like nobody knew me. That was all right. I'm in the studio. I'm working on little local mixtapes and all that. You know what I mean? And then, you know, you fast forward to 06. That's when I really started doing a little something where somebody might be like, hey, I think I know that guy. I think yeah, okay. You know, that was, you know, the Cloud9 and all that stuff. I'm sure you'll want to.
Of course.
Happening.
Okay. So who was the first person? Because like I said, I got hip to you, I'm gonna say like around that time, 2007, around I remember hearing you on that the Sean Price project, man.
Yeah, on Jesus Price Superstar.
Jesus Price Superstar, man. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's when I got hit, man. I remember Selector had you on a lot of projects back in the day, man. So, you know, let's just go back a little bit before that, man. Like, who was the one who actually said, hey, man, let's get in the studio? You know, like, man, let's take this shit serious. I heard you just say that you started taking it serious a little bit as you know, 18, 19, but we talk about 2006, 2007. Who was that guy that really, you know, stamped you? Yeah.
So, I was doing a local thing, you know, studios with my man DJ Nice, who was he was kind of like he was like my real first engineer for years, you know, almost a decade, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I would say, the first person who of any significance to stamp me and be like, yo, I'm rocking is Ninth, you know, it was Ninth Wonder, you know what I mean? That was the first person of any status to you know what I mean? It was 2006. So I met Sean Don in late 04, late 2004. I met Sean Don, gave him some music, and he took it to North Carolina to the Justice League when they were still together. And he was all of them. Dunny's a great dude. He's like me in the sense of he'll put anybody on. It's not a threat. Like I'll put anybody on. I think you dope. I help him on as best as I can. It ain't a threat to me. Like, yo, if I put Son on or I put Shorty on, what if they get and I'm here? I don't care about none of that. I just want heads to get it who deserve it. And Sean Don is very much like that. So he was passing my tapes around Justice League, like, yo, this kid is it, man. He nice. He from Brooklyn, he young kid. We got to get with him. So in early 05, they invited me to come to North Carolina, and I just did a bunch of records. I did like 15 records in a week. It was beats from Crisis, from Ninth, and for 10. And
that's the whole North Carolina camp right there.
Yeah, and it was one from this new kid named Illmind, who nobody really knew. And that's how I met Illmind, was through them. You know what I mean? Like they put me on through them. I'll tell you that story in a minute. So I went down there and did all these records. None of the records really came out. You know, a few here and there leaked on the internet, but we just worked. They used to have this thing where they bring you down just to work. Like, yo, we just gonna work, and whatever happens, happens. It's like going to the park. We just gonna play. And you know, I did that. and me and Knife got really, really close. And it became a thing where for the next year, anytime Knife would see me, whether it was in New York for a concert or event, he would call me to pull up, or if I was in North Carolina or whatever it might be, he would hand me a beat CD. It was like a running joke. He would hand me a beat CD with a bunch of new shit on it and be like, yo, Sky, here go the new beats. Yo, Sky, here go the new shit. So I wound up, I'm a kid, early, 22, maybe, whatever, 23. And I got, 5, 7 Ninth Wonder beat CDs, and each CD got like 20 joints. You know what I mean? And I'm a kid with a job taking a train that nobody know. You know what I mean? But I got all these from the new producer, the new Destiny's Child producer. You know what I'm saying?
Let me stop you for a second, Scott. Now, this is my question to you, and I know the guests, when they see this video, they will want to know this, this question. And the question I posed to you: were you familiar with Ninth Wonder like prior to this meeting? With his work with Jay-Z and Little Brother.
Sure. Okay. For sure. Obviously through the Black Album stuff and style stuff. Of course, you know what I mean. Absolutely. The LB album, of course, the first joint. You know what I mean. So I was already hip. Like going to North Carolina, it was like, oh shit, word! I'm about to go down there and get with them and try to turn this into something. You know what I mean. So absolutely. So he would always hand me BCDs. So fast forward, like spring 06, so like a full year later, and I'm in the crib in New York, and I was kind of bored. Nothing was really popping on the radio or the mixtape scene, and I just started listening to beat CDs that I had, and I had all the Ninth beat CDs that I never touched, and I was like, yo, I got all these beats I ain't do nothing to. And I was like, yeah, I gotta fuck with these, man. And I started pulling beats aside, making a list. All right, track 1, track 5, track 8. All right, cool. Track 2, track 5, track 3. All right, cool. Just making a little list of which ones I love.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then, man, I went to the lab. I went to my man's studio that I mentioned earlier, and I did 9 joints in 2 days. So I did the 9 joints in 2 days. Knife had no idea what was going on. I booked a trip a week later to go to North Carolina. I hit him, yo, I want to come down for a couple days and just bug out. He was like, yeah, come down, whatever. So I booked the flight. I went down and got to the lab, and I gave him a CD. Same way he was with me. I gave him a CD. I said, yo, here, put that in your pocket. He said, what's this? I said, put it in your pocket, play it later. He said, all right. He calls me the next morning. I'm at Sean Don's house staying on his couch. He calls me the next morning. Yo, what is this? What is this on this CD? And he's blasting it in the back. And it was the bodega playing and all that. And he was like, yo, what is this? I was like, what's up? And he was like, yo, this shit is incredible. This shit is crazy. What is this? I was like, yo, I was cooking. I was in New York cooking. And he was like, yo, what you want to do with it? I was like, yo, you tell me. He was like, yo, come to the studio by 12. I said, I bet. I get to the studio at 12, and he's just like, yo, this shit is incredible on this CD, man. Like, what is going on? You did a whole album? You did like, I was like, I did it in like 2 days. He's like, in 2 days? I was like, yeah, I did it in like 2 days, whatever. Yeah. He said, yo, let's finish it. So we did 3 joints in 1 day. And that's how it became 12 songs in 3 days. That's how it became Cloud 9, 12 songs in 3 days, whatever. And then he was like, yo, whatever you want to do, I'm with it. I said, if you give me your blessing, I'm going to run. I was like, I don't need you to hold my hand. I don't need you to make calls. I don't need you to do nothing. Just give me your blessing and I'm going to run.
Okay.
Meaning, like, when I put this out, when I bust moves with it, if somebody asks you if it's real, yeah, it's real. Because at the time, there was a lot of Ninth beats on YouTube and people was, grabbing them and doing freestyle songs to them. So you didn't know what was real or not.
He wanted you to like stamp that shit. Make sure
just let motherfuckers know it was real. Like, if I go run and I put your name on it, just let them know it's real. And he was like, done deal. I was like, I'll do everything else. Literally. I handled the art, I handled the photos, I handled the press, I handled the rollout, I handled everything. I got the distro deal for it. I was 23 years old going to work every day, but I handled everything. I said, yo, I don't need you to do nothing.
Right. Hello. Oh shit. Okay. Hello.
Yo, we still there? Yeah.
No, I hear you. No, I can hear you. You said you don't need him to do nothing. I'm sorry. I don't know what just happened.
Yeah, I'll bring it back. Yeah. So I said, yeah, as long as you just let motherfuckers know it's real, that's it. Like I handled the photos, I handled the artwork, I handled the rollout, I handled the distro deal for it, I got the vinyl deal for it, everything. I said, yo, I don't need none of that because I know you moving. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you don't owe me nothing. You giving me
Right.
all these joints. I'm going to run with it.
Okay.
Just let motherfuckers know it's real. And he was like, done deal. Like, yeah, I want to see it happen. I want to see it come out. And I ran with it, and I was busting the dope moves, and that was that.
That's what's up, man. Hey, you know, I came back to that project. Like I said, man, the first project that I got hip to, the first actual album that I heard from you, man, and it was the joint you did with Static Selector, DJ Drama, and this was also around the same time that you released.
Oh yeah, that was 09, so that was the Power Word. That was a mixtape.
Yeah, so I had to go back. I don't remember the Cloud9 and all that stuff. I had when that dropped. I wasn't hip to that particular project. So, you know, let's go back a little bit, man. Tell me about you. You know, you meeting Sean Price, man, putting you know, that being featured on that Jesus Price Superstar, man. How did you link up with Price?
Yeah, another North Carolina story, man. I was in North Carolina working on some records with Ninth and all that, and P was down there. So P went to North Carolina for 2 weeks to work on Jesus Price Superstar. I think he was only supposed to go for like 2-3 days to do like one record. And I guess the chemistry was so dope with him in the Justice League, he just stayed, you know what I mean? Yeah. And he just kept making more records. So if you go back to that album, they produced like 80% of that album. It's Ninth, Crisis.
Yeah. Crisis.
They did the majority of that album. You know what I mean? So I was there for that. So I remember going and meeting him. And of course I knew who he was because obviously Boot Camp Brooklyn. And I'm like, oh snap, there goes Sean Price. Okay, cool. Boom, boom, boom. And we met and everything was love. And I was working on something else of mine. We was kind of taking turns with the studio because it was like one A room as far as where you record and all that. So he would work for a couple hours and then they go get something to eat and I'll work, you know, whatever. And he heard me doing some records with some hooks. And he pulled me aside and he was like, yo, you real nasty, bro. You real nasty. You know what I mean? You crazy, bro. And then he was like, yo, you real nasty with them hooks too. And I was like, yeah. He was like, yo, you mind doing a hook on one of my joints? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, so it
P don't like nobody, man. I heard Sean Price don't like nobody. So if he give you a compliment, he really fuck with you.
But you know what's crazy? He was the friendliest dude, man. He was the coolest dude in the world. That is true as far as like he would pick and choose when he like get close. But man, he was the coolest dude, man. He as a friend, he was the coolest dude in the world, man. But yeah, so you know, I did the hook for You Already Know, you know, and that was it. And we started rocking, and that was the first retail album that I was ever on. So to this day, that album's huge to me because that was the first time you could go to a store and see somebody else's album and my name is on it as a feature. And it's like, yo, so-and-so album featuring Skyzoo. Like that was huge for me. You know, I still had to go to work the next week. You know what I mean? So like that was huge for me. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget that, you know, and among a million other things with him for sure. But that was the first for me, and it was beautiful. Funny thing about that too, when I record, I know people may not care about this, but when I record, like I bring the mic down a little bit because I like to kind of talk down to it. So I'm 6'1".
Now, why is that? Why is that?
I don't know, like the dynamics, I guess, of my voice and all that. Everybody got their little quirks in the studio. I
want to talk about that, but finish what you about to say, man, because this is very important. But finish what you're saying.
So I'm 6'1", but on the record, Sean P goes, yo, even the Brooklyn guy's short. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna think I'm short. Because when he went in the
same height.
Right. When he went in the booth after me, he had to raise the mic up. Because me and him was the same height, but he had to raise the mic up. Because like I said, I like to kind of rhyme down to it. You know what I mean? And he was kind of more straight on. So when he had to go in the booth and raise the mic, that's when he said that. Just being a jerk, just being funny. You know what I mean? In the intro, he goes, Big Zoo, what up? That's an oxymoron. Even the Brooklyn guy short. Oh, man. And I was like, I'm standing on the other side. Dude, these people don't know me. They don't think I'm 5'2".
Yeah. Like, but it goes so hard on the track. It flows so well, man. You know, so I guess y'all was like, fuck it, let's just keep it.
Yeah, nah, he wasn't gonna take that off. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Sean Price, man.
He wasn't gonna take that off. He lived for those spontaneous, funny skit type moments. He wasn't gonna take that off. And I had no right to ask him to. It was funny. Yeah, I was like, get out of here. It was funny. That was my man.
Two legends, man. So look, I want to fast forward a little bit, man. So here we go, man. You know, 2009, man. you dropping your first project, The Salvation, man. Tell me what led up to this project, man, because, I feel like that project was so underrated and, a lot of people, man, to me, it's a classic. So tell me what led up to that project.
So they say you take your whole life to make your first album, and it's extremely true. If you're an artist who cares about the work and cares about the art and you really in it for the love of the music and your legacy and all that, yeah, you take your whole life to make your first album, because from the moment you start rhyming or singing or whatever it is, playing the instrument, whatever, the moment you start, all you think about is what your first album is going to sound like. That's what they're saying. Like that's all you think about. So when I was 9, 10 years old, I used to be in school drawing my album cover. At 10 years old, I was drawing pictures of what my album cover would be. And then when I was 14, I was drawing pictures of what my album cover would be. And then when I was 21, I was making a wish list of who I wanted on my album. So when people say that, that's what that means. Like you take your whole life to make your first album. All you're thinking about is what that moment is going to sound like, what that album is going to look like, sound like, feel like, smell like, everything. So for me, that was, my whole life leading up to it. So there's stories on there that happened years prior. And I put those moments in my pocket and I saved them. Like, for instance, for what it's worth,
that's my
that
shit,
situation happened to me in 2006. You know what I mean? Like that situation, that whole song is a true story. Like I was at work. I was on my lunch break. My man called me. He was like, yo, we about to go out of town, da-da-da-da-da, and bust the dope moves. Yo, come with us and let's bust this bread down when we get back. Let's go out of town, make something shake, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, nah. Yo, what you mean, nah? Come on, what you talking about, man? You want us? What you talking about? And I was like, nah, I'm at work, man. And, I got this music, da-da-da. Nah, I'm yo, what you talking about? You sure? You can come back with X amount and get busy and blah, blah, blah. Nah, I'm good. I'm cooling. So I was on the phone with him doing that. And I was late going back to work telling him no. So when I get back in the job, I get pulled in the office for being late from lunch and I get fired. And I'm like, yo, I'm late because I was trying to do the right thing. Like, you know what I mean? So like
the irony.
I could have went the wrong thing. Exactly. I could have went out there and made all kind of bands and been good. So I was so upset. I was so mad when that happened. And the irony, like you said, and I was like, yo, this is a song, man. This is a song. And I put the idea in my pocket. I was like, I'm not even touching this right now. That was 3 years before The Salvation. I was like, this is a song that would speak volumes on my first album. So it's that type of stuff, like all those moments and the things I went through and the things I was aspiring for, all that stuff went into the stories on The Salvation. So that's what it was about.
Now, being that when I listen to that project and I go back to it, I look at the credits. And I noticed, man, like a lot of the guys that you was working with in North Carolina seemed like you built up a camaraderie because they're also Crisis and Ninth. A lot of those guys are also featured on The Salvation, man. Tell me about that camaraderie, man, with those guys, man, because, one thing I love about your music, man, you when it comes to cohesion, man, brother, it's like you're second to none, man. So tell me about what's so special, man, about working with those brothers, down in North Carolina, man.
Well, I haven't worked with them in a while, but when we was working, man, like they're obviously super talented, and when it came to getting in the game, as far as really making some waves, like 05, 06, 07, they was the guys I went to for beats all the time. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of my producers, so to speak. So you look at Eric G, all the work he's doing. I brought Eric G to Ninth. You know what I mean? Ninth didn't know Eric G. I played for what was worth for Ninth because I was working on the album with him and all that. And when I was playing rough mixes, when he heard For What It's Worth, he flipped out. He was like, yo, who did this beat? And I was like, yo, this skinny white kid from Seattle, man, Eric G. He was like, who is Eric G? Like, we need him. Like, what's up? And I introduced him and put him down. And, now he over there doing his thing for however many years, so it was just like this cool circle of different things going on, you know what I mean? And all of them was talented, and it just, I was, happy to be able to work with them guys and get beats and, and vice versa. It was a nice situation.
Now, like I was mentioning, Sean Price, is he the one who helped you get on with Duck Down? What's that relationship?
Somewhat. The funny thing about that was, so I was shopping, a deal, for my debut and all that. And I was talking to a bunch of different labels, indies and majors, and I had, conversations going on and all that. And Duck Down was definitely some of the people I thought would have made sense. So I remember talking to Buckshot. I was at some event and Buck was there, and me and Buck was talking, and he was obviously hip to what I was doing, and Drew High and all that. Was talking to them, and they were interested. They was like, "Yo, man, we really would like to sit down and see if we could do something." And I was like, "All right, cool." And I guess word got back to P. I don't remember if it was through me or if they brought it up, but I remember P kind of like pushing it, like, "Yo, y'all got to do that deal. Y'all got to do the Skyzoo deal. You got to do that." And they was like, nah, we're going to do it. He was like, "Nah, you got to do the Skyzoo deal. Like, we don't want to see him go to another team and it'd be like a free agent. He could have went to the Knicks, but he went to the Nets." You know what I mean? Like, yo, he got to be here, because if he don't, we're going to be mad in the long run. And Drew was like, "Nah, we plan on doing the deal. We're going to bring him in and sit with him, and, we're going to make something happen." And Sean was like, "Yo, for real, like, grab him." You know what I mean? Like, don't let him go to another team. And that was that. He was talking about me, and I think at the same time Tor was doing his deal with them, and he was saying the same thing about Tor. Like, yo, don't let him go, and don't let him go. You know what I mean? So
Tor, you mean Torre, right?
Yeah. Okay. So it was like, yo, don't let him go. Don't let him go. You know what I mean? And so that was how it happened. They was already trying to do the deal, and he kind of really just nudged it like, "Yo, nah, do it." And they was like, "Sean, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Don't worry." You know what I mean? Like, so that's how it went down. And then talking to Ninth, I wasn't signed to Ninth at the time. And I asked Ninth, I was like, "Yo, we got all these records. You've been giving me beats for years. You ain't charged me nothing. It's love. I'm doing verses, whatever. It's love. We family." I said, "Yo, I'm about to do this album, and I got a couple beats I want to use from you that you gave me before. How much? How much should I pay you?" And he was like, "Man, I don't even know what to charge you. Like, we've been rocking forever. We fam." He was like, "Man, I could try to figure out a number, or you can help me get this label off the ground." He was like, "I'm going to start this label called Jamla.
There we
if
go.
You can help me get the label off the ground, we good." And I was like, "Bro, done deal." He was like, "Yo, I got a couple artists I'm looking at, but you already moving. You already doing your thing. You already moving. So it's easier to break an artist that's already got some things going.
Got some
traction. New artist that nobody ever heard of. So would you be down to be the first? Would you be down to be the biggie of the label and be the first?" And I was like, "Bro, I would be honored to. Let's do it. You've been holding me down for a couple years now. Let's do it." And then I was like, "Yo, I'm working on this deal with Duck Down." He was like, "Man, I'm about to do the Jamla deal with Duck Down." So I was like, "Oh, this is perfect. It's already lined up. I don't got to say no to them or no to you or whatever." And it lined up, and that was the way it happened.
Okay, so now we go fast forward, because I'm not gonna go through every project, brother. Your catalog, like I said, is ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll be here. We'll be here for a while.
Nah, we not even gonna do that. So look, I want to go to 2012, man, when you did you dropped a Dream Deferred. And one of the standout project songs on that project, man, was my favorite, one of my favorite Spike Lee songs. I mean, one of my favorite Skyzoo songs. Spike Lee was my hero, man. And I want to know, where did that inspiration come from, man? Because I don't feel like Spike Lee gets the credit that he deserved, man. And just hearing the way that you rapped, just was able to convey how you feel about this brother and his work, man. Where did the inspiration come from?
Oh, man, my heroes are my pops, Spike Lee, and Jadakiss. You know what I mean? Those are my heroes, man. And, when I heard the beat, Tall Black Guy did the beat. He had sent me some beats and all that. And when I heard the beat, it sounded like a superhero theme song. You know what I mean? Like, that was the first thing I heard with the horns. It sounded like a superhero. It sounded like the music on a cartoon on Saturday morning with a hero on. It sounded like some superhero shit. And I was, the first thing I said to myself, man, who's a superhero that you would write a record about that would really be kind of like off the wall? Like, I could write a record about my pops, and I did that last year, obviously.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah.
Right. But like where it would really fuck people up and it would be off the wall and everybody could relate, but be like, yo, why didn't anybody think about that before? And the first person that came to my mind was Spike. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, Spike is my hero, like along with my pop. I said, of course, but you know, I was like, yo, Spike. And it just started flowing right there on the spot out at Ill Mind House. Cause I recorded that whole album at Ill Mind's house. And he I recorded the whole shit at Meezy crib, at Ill Mind crib. So I was sitting in his crib and the shit came on and I just started writing right away. And the first thing came out my mouth was the hook. I heard these from my window and it's Lee from my pillow. The Spike Lee was my hair. It just started pouring. And I was just typing away on the phone, you know what I mean? And I was done. Maybe an hour, I was done. And then, you know, I remember I was in the lab with Kweli. Kwa was like, yo, come to the lab. You know, I got this joint I want to get you on. I was like, yeah, for sure. So I went. Something said, yo, bring flash drive, play some rough joints for him. That's Kwa. That's the homie. That's my brother. It's all good. I had maybe like 8 or 9 joints done on the album or whatever. And so I went to the lab. I went to the studio and I did a verse. One of the projects he put out around that same time. I don't remember exactly which one. One of the joints we did.
I think it was Gutter. I remember he did an album, the Gutter Rainbows. That was his album.
It might have been a mixtape joint. I think either Oh No or Madlib did the beat.
He another one of them dudes, man. They got like 1 million dope. His catalog is crazy, man.
It was either Oh No or Madlib who did the beat. I think it was Oh No. But either way, so I did the verse, and after the verse, he was like, "Yo, what you working on? You got some new shit?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got some joints." And I plugged in the flash drive. I started playing joints, and I played that joint. And he was like, "Yo, you got anybody on this?" And I wasn't thinking about putting nobody on it. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, "Yo, you got anybody on this?" And I was like, "Nah." He was like, "Yo, I'll totally get on this if you wanted to." And
yo,
I was like,
hold up. Whoa. Stop. Yo, Sky, how did that make you feel? Like, the you know, to me, man, me and you around the same age, man. Yeah. How did that make you feel, man, for Kweli to just be that excited, man, to jump on a project with you, brother? And you know, at this time, you only like what, maybe 4 or 5 years in the game, man. How did that? What was the
it was amazing, man, because you know, I grew up on Kwa. I grew up on Black Star. I grew up on like all that stuff. You know what I mean? Those are some of my favorite artists, some of my favorite albums, some of my favorite rap. Absolutely. Kwa is a legend. Kwa's amazing. You know what I mean? Without a doubt. And that's my bro. You know what I mean? At the time, we was tight, but we're obviously way tighter now because time passed, relationships grow. But at the time, we was getting real tight. I was like, yo, that's my man. So like, you know, when he said that, he was just listening to it and he was like, yo, you got anybody on this? And I, like I said, I wasn't thinking about putting nobody on it. It just hadn't hit me.
Okay.
I was like, nah, not yet. And he was like, yo, if you wanted, I would totally jump on this. And I was like, done deal. Absolutely. I'm going to leave it here.
Say no more.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to leave it here with you. And then in like a week or 2 weeks, something like that, I don't remember, it was done. You know what I mean? And he sent it back and it was done. And then, you know, we shot the video. You know, rest in peace to my man, Alex G, who directed the video. And that video was nuts because Spike is all over it.
How?
Remember,
Scott, how did you get Spike though, man?
How did you, bro, that story's crazy. So one day, maybe a week or 2 after the album is out, a tweet pops up on my phone from Spike. Yo, loving this new Skyzoo. Spike Lee was my hero. I was like, what? Like, I had never met him before. I had no dealings with him. My man was over there. My man Jason, shout my man Jason. My man Jason is one of Spike's right-hand mans, but I never used that card. I wasn't on it like that. I didn't even think to use that card. So it wasn't through that, you know what I mean? So, you know, Spike tweeted that. Then like 10 minutes later, he tweeted again and he was quoting lines from it. He was like, man, I'm honored to be, you know, saluted in this record. And I was like, yo, hold on. We got to figure this out now because now he's tweeting about it multiple times. We got to figure this. Something got to happen out of this.
Yeah.
Man, Jason, and he was like, yeah, Spike's really excited about the record, man, blah, blah, blah. My man Fuse does a lot of artwork for Spike. Fuse was like, yo, yeah, like Spike's really excited about the record. I'm like, yo, how did this happen? So what happened was Spike's son Jackson was playing the album in the house.
Okay.
And he went in Spike's room and grabbed him and was like, "Dad, come listen to this." And that was how it happened. So his son
that's nuts.
And I had never met
crazy.
him. Now I know him well, but at the time I had never met him. So Jackson plugged it. So shout out to Jackson Lee. He plugged it.
Shout out to him, man, because that was the icing on the cake right there, man. You know, for you to actually dedicate a song to Spike and, like you said, to your father, man, but to actually have the legend, the one and only Spike Lee in the video, man. I always thought that was a man. Shout out to Lid, man. He killed it. He killed it.
Yeah,
man.
And you know the crazy thing, when we did the video, I remember on set, Spike was like, "Yo," he was like, "Yo, mad love," and you know the whole deal, and everything was great. And then we did it at the 40 Acres offices, and he was like, "Yo, man, you know I never really do videos for people." He was like, "You know, I did the Public Enemy joint back in the day, obviously, whatever."
I was just about to say, yeah.
But he was like, "You know, I never really do videos for people." He was like, "This is probably the last one I'm gonna do." And I was like, "Word up." You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think I've seen it one since.
Nah. He was like, "Yeah, this probably be the last one I do." I was like, "Word up." Yeah. Yes, let's leave it at that.
Hey, you know, so man, we talk about Spike, man. Give me your top three Spike Lee movies, man. Because you're a movie from listening to your music, man. You like me, man. You're a pop culture buff, man. You're very knowledgeable as far as pop culture, and you're a movie buff, man. So give me your top three Spike movies.
Oh man, Do the Right Thing, Mo Better, and for the third one, I mean, I love them all. So they all so near and dear to me. For the third one, we go Malcolm X for sure. But my favorite movie, my three favorite movies, regardless of director and all that, are Do the Right Thing, Mo Better Blues, and Goodfellas. So off the rip, two of them is right there from him. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, my third, just talking Spike, will be Malcolm X.
Yeah. Nah, you listening to your music, man. It's like, you know, that's one thing I enjoy about you, man, because you're one of those artists, man, that balance, you know, street literature, and as far as being able to talk about things that actually goes on, you know, within the world, man. You're very diverse, man. Now, coming out as an artist, man, was this something that was intentional, man? Because you could have went different ways, man. Being from Brooklyn, there's a lot of different MCs from Brooklyn. There's a lot of different MCs, period, man. But you chose a certain lane, and you have been consistent in that lane, man. So was this intentional?
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's who I am. You know, I'm a guy who I grew up around the way. I was outside every single day. Couldn't get me to come in the house. My friends was doing X, Y, Z. I was right there with them, you know, but at the same time, I wasn't getting my hands dirty with them like that. I was privy to it. I knew what was what. I knew who was who and what was what. And those was my best friends. We was all getting looked at the same way by the police, whether you was dirty or not. You know, I was there. But at the same time, I went to school and was AP English. So you got these two vastly different worlds, and you put them together. You know, I never went to school in my neighborhood, ever. Everybody in my blocks that I grew up with, I never was in a classroom with them.
Now, whose decision was that? Was that yours or your parents?
No, that was my parents. You know, as a kid, I hated it. You know what I mean? Like, I hated it because the whole neighborhood went to the school around the corner, and I went to school 40 minutes away on the train. You know what I mean? Like, I hated it. You know, like, it was like two different worlds. I come home and I'm with my peoples, and then I'm in school and I'm with my peoples. It was two different sets of peoples. You know what I mean? But now it was the greatest thing that could have happened, you know, because my life could have been a lot different. You know, as much as I love my friends and I'm there for them all the time, and it's true love and they're my family, you know, situations were so wild. I could have been in the same situation with some of them. You know what I mean? Some of them made, some of them didn't. You know, most of my friends is jammed. Most of my friends is in the joint or been in the joint multiple times or ain't here no more. They in a box, you know, like those is my friends, you know what I'm saying? And I could have been sharing the space with them, you know, but thank God I didn't. And a lot of that is because I had both of my parents. I actually had three parents because I got two moms. You know, my pops got married later, so I got a stepmom, but I don't call her step. Like, that's my second mom. So I had 3 parents growing up, and I went to certain schools. I went to schools where it wasn't all black. I went to school where it might have been a quarter black, you know, a quarter white, a quarter Spanish, a quarter Asian. You know, it was all that. So I learned different things, and I was exposed to more. You know, I was exposed to a lot more going to school on, you know, the lower, Lower East Side or Stuyvesant Town or, you know, Chelsea and all that, and, you know, Midtown, West Side and all that. You know, I know these New York places you may or may not be privy to.
Yeah, but I heard some of those places.
Yeah, like different neighborhoods where you got different people. You know what I mean? When I was in the hood, it would have just been the hood in there. You know what I mean? That was the difference. So just going.
So basically, that's where it comes from, man. Because like I said, when I listen to your music, man, like, you know, you're so unique as far as you're able to jump in the lanes with the Conways and the Sean Prices and these guys that most people consider like real grimy street hip hop, but then you able to finesse it, and, you know, you can do something with a Rhapsody, or you could do something with, you know, you could flow nice on a knife beat, or you know, you have this, you know, you can go in both worlds, man, and you do it so effortlessly. You know, you're one of the few MCs, man, that seems like that's very respected in the streets, and you're respected by, you know, hip hop fans who's not, you know, familiar with that type of environment.
The bohemian, the nerd rap, the mainstream rap.
There you go.
And I appreciate you catching that, because that's always been my goal, like being able to dance in all these different worlds, but not changing who I am. You know, people could dance in different worlds and change. Okay, if I do a record with Meek and them, I'm gonna be this guy. Then if I go do
that,
I'm gonna be that guy. If I go do a record with Drake, I'm gonna be that guy. Then, you know what I mean? Like, if I do a record with all those types of people in those different lanes, yo, it's gonna still be me. Perfect example on Music for My Friends. You got See a Key with Jadakiss. We talking about kilos, and the very next record is me and Black Thought and Bilal, and we talking about all the Money Makes You Happy. You know what I mean? Money makes us happy. So those records come back to back with one another, and it's like, damn, you on a record like this with Jada, then you're on a record like that with Black Thought and Bilal, and on both records, I'm me. I ain't have to say, I'm gonna go put on a hoodie here, then I'm gonna come here, put on a suit. Like, nah, like I'm me the whole trip. And that's a huge part of my legacy and my story, that I'm able to dance in all these different worlds, man, with all these different people and these different artists while being myself the whole time. And I think that's why all those different crowds gravitate towards me. Even like with the ghostwriting stuff, like the people I'm in the room with that I'm ghostwriting with are some of the biggest artists in the world. Like, I'm not even surprised, brother. Like, your pen game is nuts, bro. Yeah, it's not like people I be with when it comes to that. They're not some of the biggest people at the moment. They're some of the biggest people ever. You know what I mean? And these are people that I'm penning for and I'm working with and I'm doing things with, and you would never know. So I'm at this spot and the house is 25 mil and the studio is 10 mil and they got chefs and waiters bringing you this, that, and the party got all the millionaires in the world after we in the studio recording, and it's unlimited paper and you sitting in the Wraith and all that. And I get back to my, you know, my quote unquote underground shit the next day. And I'm in these worlds juggling and dancing back and forth. And the whole time I'm me. The whole time I'm Skyzoo. I'm not, well, I gotta be this guy now. I gotta be that guy. Nah, I'm me. And that's a big part of it. I peep that, man. One thing I love that about you, man, you know, that you, like I said, man, you're a unicorn when it comes to that, man. So look, I want to move on, man. 2014, man, you released a project with one of my favorite MCs, another underrated brother, man, the brother Torre, man, with this Barrel Brothers, man. Can you talk to me? Just give me a little brief synopsis, man, of the making of that project and what led you to linking up with this brother and creating this classic, man. Thank you. Yeah, that's my bro, man. That's family, like outside of the music. You know what I mean? We met through the music, but it obviously became way more than that. Tor and I met in like 05. And I don't even know how we met. Oh, it was Sean Don. It was through Sean Don. So he plugged us, you know, because we was working on a song for his mixtape. We both was featured on it. And he introduced us and whatever. And we got real cool right away. Same energy. He a couple years older than me, but same energy, same vibe. same morals when it comes to the music, both from Brooklyn, you know, all that. And we clicked right away. And we just started running around together all the time. Like, he got a show, I go. I got a show, he go, you know, and we just started vibing and doing records. And then if I was putting out a tape, he got to be on it. If he putting out a tape, I got to be. It just became a red and left type of thing, you know. It was like, that's my man right there. And then we got real tight. And we had done so much work over the years. This single, that single, this feature, that feature. We toured together a couple times. People was asking for a record. So I remember the way that came about. 2009, I toured with Ghostface. And it was my first tour ever off the Southeast. Someone toured with Ghostface, and Toure came with me. And, you know, he kind of helped with some things, you know, as far as like holding me down. It was more like not being rapper Toure, just holding me down. And of course, he would get some burn on stage, and we would rock, and everything was great. So we in Indiana or somewhere. We're some city after the show. Somebody comes up and wants to meet us and show love and all those good things. And they say, yo, when is Bauer Brothers coming out? And we said, what the hell is Bauer Brothers? What are you talking about?
I was about to say.
Right. This is 2009. What are you talking about? What's Bauer Brothers? He pulls out his BlackBerry. That's how long we going back. Pulls out his BlackBerry and goes to my Wikipedia page. And on my Wikipedia, what is that? You know what I mean? Did it cut off?
Yeah, it cut off for a second ago. You said your Wikipedia page.
I'll bring it back. So he pulls out his BlackBerry and he goes to my Wikipedia page and he scrolls and it shows upcoming projects. And it says Bauer Brothers with Toure. And I was like, what? Like, me and Toure looked at each other like, what the hell is that? Like, so somebody went on my Wikipedia page and added that. And we was like, what the fuck is that? Like, and you know, because he did Double Barrel with Marco.
Yeah.
So that's what
Marco Polo. Oh, right.
He did Barrel with Marco Polo. So that's where they got the barrel from. And we was like, what the fuck is Barrel Brothers? So we was like, yo, that's not real, man. Like, we was laughing. We was like, yo, bro, that's not real. I don't know who did that. So a year later, 2010, I'm working on Live from the Tape Deck with Illmind. And I was like, yo, Toure, yo, we got to do a joint. Let's do a back and forth Jada Styles type joint. He was like, yeah, no doubt. So he came through. We did the joint. We wrote the joint together on the spot, writing back and forth, boom, boom, boom. We recorded it. And at the end of the record, before I wrote the hook, I said, yo, we're going to call the joint Bauer Brothers. Yeah. So he bust out laughing. He was like, yo, you know you're going to fuck the internet up. People going, like, you know that Wikipedia shit from last year, you're going to keep this going, huh? I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like, let's play with him. Fuck it. We had no plans of doing it. I was like, yeah, fuck it. Let's just play with him. Let's just play with him.
Yeah.
So we called the joint Bauer Brothers. So now everybody's ready. Everybody's like, yo, Bauer Brothers, Bauer Brothers. So every time we would do a show or something, people would be like, yo, what's up with Bauer Brothers? So in 2012 or 13, we did E13. We did it together. And didn't even tell them I was going to say this. But at the end of the show, I said, oh, and by the way, Bauer Brothers is coming next year. And everybody's like, yo. So when we got on stage, Toure was like, oh, so we doing Bauer Brothers? And I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I kind of just threw it out there. I was like, oh, by the way.
You pulled a Sean Price move.
Yeah. So then, then we started working. So we started working. And man, that was such a fun album to make. You know, I just wanted us to do like, let's just go off. Let's go off. All over.
Talk. Hold on, brother. That project, man. This is what I'm saying, man. See, this interview, man, is based on like about 5 projects, right? Because I can't talk about your entire catalog, man.
5 of them. There's like 25
your catalog, bro, is so ridiculous, man. Like when you release all this music, do you ever think like the consistency that you put out music, brother? Like, I've never seen anything like this, brother. Like it's crazy, bro. Like it's really hard to say my favorite Skyzoo song. Like, no, my favorite Skyzoo project, man. Ghostface is my favorite MC of all time.
Nice.
And I put you up there, man, with the, you know, as far as in my lifetime, or guys of my era, brother, you in my top 5, man. It's guys that's as nice as you, but I can't say nobody's better.
Thank you.
And now when we talking catalogs, brother, it's crazy. It's like, let me just say this.
Yeah.
Like with Ghostface, man, when I listen to a song from Sky, I can't listen to it. I gotta listen to the whole album, brother.
Yeah.
I listen to the whole album.
Nah, thank you, man. When it comes to the catalog, like, nobody can see it, man, because like you said, it's just, and that's not me being funny.
No, I'm glad you said that, man. Say it.
Because you know what it is. It's like you said, the consistency that I'm proud to be able to say that I've been able to give y'all. You know what I mean? Like
shit, bro. It's alien.
A lot of times we got favorite artists, and we'll be like, yo, I grew up on so and so, man. Yo, son is so great. Yeah, but that 3rd album or that 5th album, yeah, that wasn't really rocking. My goal was, you never gonna say that about me. Never.
And you accomplished that.
Hey, I was like, yeah, you never gonna say that about me, like, because when you listening to them guys and you love those guys so much, whoever it may be, you love those artists so much, you wish that there weren't no bad games, right? So what would happen if you never had a bad game or you never had a bad season? That's what I set out to accomplish. It's just my name is on every record that I make. So I don't want it to be like you got all these records and yeah, that one wasn't really rocking, but that next one was crazy. The next one was crazy. Yeah, that one was all right. Then the last one, nah. It's gonna be a debate on what's better. Yo, this one. Nah, but yo, this one. Yo, that one. This one. Like that's the beauty of it. Like people will sit there. You got some people that their favorite album is Dream Deferred. Some people favorite album is Cloud 9. Some people favorite album is Easy Truth. Some people favorite album is Celebration of Us. That's what you want. You know what I mean? If everybody favorite album is one album, you ain't really doing it. But
man, I never thought about it like that.
Album is a different album.
Yeah.
Really doing it. Same thing with if you look at one album, and this is for any artist, if you take one album, if everybody's favorite song is one song, you got one song. But if everybody's favorite song is a different song, yo, my favorite song is track 3. My favorite is track 10. Yo, my favorite is track 5. Now you got an album because everybody is everything is great because everybody can't decide. It's like going to a restaurant. Every dish on the menu, people love, as opposed to if you go to that spot, only get the chicken and waffles because that's the great shit. All the rest of that shit.
You get to toss the rest of it.
You want it to be like, yo, if you get this, you good. If you get that, you good. If you get, no matter what you get off that menu, you good. That's what you want.
Bro, you like the most confident, humble MC I've ever seen, bro. Like,
thank you,
man. For you to put out the catalog that you, and I say that, man, because, bro, if anybody deserve to talk their shit, brother, it's you, bro. I'm gonna be honest, man. Again, man, your catalog, bro, you set a very high standard, man. And I say that because does it ever get to a time where you're like, when you go through writer's block, man, when you feel like, man, I don't know if I can go this high, I don't know if I can duplicate music for my friends or celebration for us, or because you seem to just the consistency is just, it's unbelievable, brother.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, any artist who tells you they don't get writer's block is lying, right? Like we all do, just like Braun may go out tomorrow and give you 12 points, 3 rebounds. Like anybody who tell you they don't get writer's block is lying. So of course I get it sometimes once in a while. You just got to take a step back. People ask me all the time, Scott, what do you do when you get writer's block? Is there any advice you can give me as a writer? And for me, I take a step back. And what I do, I go back and listen to the stuff that made me want to get busy in the first place. I listen to some of the greats, some of my favorite old stuff. Like I'm not gonna get writer's block and turn on the stuff that's happening now. Like, nah, I'll go back to, Illmatic, Jay stuff, Big stuff, Raekwon stuff, 3000 stuff, whatever, Devin the Dude. Like I'll go back to some of the stuff that's some of my favorite stuff that I grew up on. And that'll kind of get my fire burning again, and I'll be able to go after a day or two. But I don't feel pressure from people in the industry and the game and the fans. If there's any pressure to one up what I've done, it's within myself. Like I will listen to stuff and be like, man, I clapped this up, man. I gotta come with it on this next one. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I feel that way about In Celebration of Us. I'll be like, yo, I clapped this up crazy. Or, you know, I'll listen to whatever, all my stuff. You know what I mean? I'll listen back to certain things and be like, oh man, I went bananas on this. I'll listen to the Penny series and be like, yo, I was losing it on this record, man. I was losing it on this freestyle. Yo, I gotta go with that. I gotta hit that bag again.
That's what I'm talking about, man. These are projects that we could be on here all day, man. I can't, bro. The consistency, brother, is scary. It's alien shit, bro. Like what you've accomplished, man, these past 12 years, brother. And when I say I listen to, and I love Jay-Z, man. He's to me, he's the greatest rapper of all time. He's not my favorite, but I would say he's the greatest rapper of all time.
Yeah, there's a difference. Somebody could not be your favorite, but still be the greatest. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, you want to encompass, you know, everything that somebody accomplished and music and all that. But anyway, what I'm saying is, man, when I think of Jay-Z and the things that he've accomplished and the consistency in his catalog, and then I hear you, man, it's just it seemed like, brother, you are like the blue collar version of Jay-Z. And when
yeah, I've been getting that for years.
Is that
cool? I'm
okay.
I've been getting that forever, man. People telling me. I mean,
I didn't want to make that. I hope that was like an insult or anything like that.
You good, man? Nah, if somebody call you, you know, you the closest thing to Michael Jordan, or you our version of Michael Jordan, or you the next Mike. I mean, yeah, you can't feel mad. You can't feel bad about that, and that's who Son is when it comes to this. Son is Mike. You know what I mean? So, you know, I've been getting that forever. People was like, yo, you the closest thing to the new Jay. You the new Jay. You the underground version of Jay. You our version of Jay. I've been getting that forever. And I'm with that. Like, I don't strive for that. I don't go in the booth like, I gotta be Jay. Like, hell no, I'm gonna be me. You know what I mean? But if my level of my craft makes you feel that way, not, oh, he sounds like Jay. No. It's, yo, he's that kind of great. He's that kind of guy when it comes to the music.
It's or the feeling, man.
Like you said, or he makes me feel that way, or yo, man, the way Mike would hit him with that and cross and step back, boom. And the way Mike will give you 30 at any given, yo, this kid 30 at any given. It don't mean you play like Mike. It mean you got that ability to bust ass the same way. Like, yo, Mike give you 30, 40 on any night. Yo, this new kid, he give you 30, 40 any night. Like, that's the equivalent to that. And I'm honored by that. I'm super honored by that. That's all love.
Yeah, nah, man. It's like I said, man, I'm glad I had the opportunity to even tell you that, brother, because, you know, since I've been listening to you, man, the past, we talking 13, 14 years, man, brother, your music has been like the soundtrack of my life, man, of my adult, you know, me and you only a year. I'm only a year. We're a year apart. I'm a year older than you. I know you just celebrated a birthday at the 24th.
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
I'm a Capricorn. My birthday 2 days ago.
Oh man,
but, thank you, brother. But I say that, man, because Jay-Z, his music represented it was the soundtrack of my youth as far as being a teenager and my childhood. And, you know, but your music has been like the soundtrack of my adulthood as I'm becoming a father and becoming, you know, a man and, you know, getting, you know, responsibilities and things of that nature, man. But the thing I love about you, man, is that when I talk about the feeling that you give me as far as the music and how it correlates to what Jay-Z does, it's like, when I mean the blue collar version, bro, you give us the swag, you give us the suave, you give us the pop culture reference, but you come at it and you come with it from a humble perspective. You know, you do it in such a unique way that it's not demeaning anyone. And not saying that Jay does that, because I don't really feel he does that, but it's a way that's just much more relatable.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because, you know, I don't have what he has. Like, you know, I'm doing it.
I didn't want to bring that up.
You know right. No. Yeah, you know, it's the reason why you feel that way is because you feel the relatability, because, you know, I don't have what Son has. I mean, I'm doing great. I own my house. I own 2 cars, straight cash. You know, I haven't had a quote unquote real job in 16 years, 15, something like that.
You're winning.
Yeah, like, I'm good.
Son
has everything he wants. Like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I do whatever I want all day as long as I do some music shit. I'm good. publishing checks roll, everything's great.
Yeah.
But I don't got what son got. Who does? You know what I mean? Like,
but the thing is, I don't care though. The
but that's what I'm
music.
saying, because the reason why you able to relate is because I'm not talking that life that he taught, because that's not my life. Now, if it was my life, I might talk that a little more. If I was French Riviera and yachts and all that, I might. And yeah, I've been on some yachts and all that. But if that was my everyday life, I would talk that a little more. I talk my everyday life. You know what I mean? So that's why you feel like you may be able to relate to me a little bit more, but it doesn't take away from the way that you feel about his greatness and how he raised us both. Because, I mean, you can't listen to my music and say that he ain't have an influence and an impact on me. Of course he did. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be lying if I said otherwise. You know, he influenced me. Nas influenced me. Big influenced me. Like, those guys raised me. You know what I mean? And I'd be lying if I said otherwise. So I'm proud of that. You know, I'm super proud of that. And I appreciate you feeling the way you feel.
Nah, it's just, and I don't want to be on this subject too long, man, because I want to wrap it up. But one thing I want to say, man, is when I listen to your music, man, it takes me to a place where I feel like man, where I feel like it's inspiring. Like, you don't talk at me. You don't talk at the listener.
Right.
Even when, you got a song with West Side Gun, when you talk about luxury, there's always messages and everything in all of the projects, man. And even when you're talking about, excess wealth or things that's a greater magnitude as far as, monetary wealth and things of that nature, it just doesn't seem like you're beating us on the head. It just comes from. Yeah,
I'm not sunning nobody. Like,
yeah, man, there you go.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm not sunning nobody. Like, I'm just talking about what's going on, and I'm showing, my music is showing both sides of everything and what it is and what it was and what it could be and why it's this way, but then why it's that way. Like, I've always looked at my music as a big sociology project. When I was in college, I went to school to be a writer. Funny thing is, I actually started for medicine. I went to school to be a dentist. A lot of people don't know that. I went to school to be a dentist, but I wasn't into it. And, writing was always my heart. I've been a writer since before I was rhyming. So I was AP English my whole life. Why would I be in science classes? English, you know what I mean? So, I went for that, but I wasn't really into it. And it looked like it stopped again.
Yeah. Can you just run it back from what you was last saying?
Yeah, I'll go back to it. Yeah.
I'm gonna edit all this shit.
Yeah, I grew up AP English, so why would I be in science classes? You know what I mean? So, I went to school to be a dentist at first, but after like one semester, maybe two, I was like, I'm out. Like, I switched off into English and all that, which was right up my lane. But they make you take all these other classes just to fill up the day. Took psychology, took this, took that, and I took sociology, and I fell in love with it. I had never really dug into what sociology was. I mean, I knew what it meant, of course, but I never really got into the meat and potatoes of it, and I loved it. I was like, yo, this is what I do in my music. I talk about what's going on in the urban environment and why it's the way it is. That's sociology. And my music is just a big-ass sociology project, and I love that. My music is about what's going on, why it's that way here versus over there. Or if we only look at one community or one side of the fence even, okay, let's talk about just the urban environment as opposed to comparing the urban environment with the other side of the affluent middle class, upper middle class. All right, cool. Let's talk about the urban environment. Why is it that I'm here and my friends is here, but we grew up next door to each other? We was outside every day. We was doing the same things. We was splitting a turkey and cheese hero together every day. We did all the same shit. Why am I here? Or why is this happening versus that happening? Or why? Okay, well, let's get into that. And that's what my music is about, and it always will be, because I'm fascinated by the way the world works when it comes to that part of it. Like, it fascinates me that it's something that probably will never be solved, no matter who's in power or who's in position or what's going on. It's extremely fascinating to me, and it fuels a lot of my life. It's why, I moved, I've been down in Atlanta for 2 years now. It's why I moved, because once I had my son, I wanted to provide a different life, So soon as he was on the way, we bust a move. I was like, yo, we out. you know, and we moved to Atlanta, and I bought a house, boom, 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 and I'm in the A now because it's a different experience in the suburbs of Atlanta than it is in Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights, Brooklyn, or Southside Jamaica, Queens.
Right.
All that comes from knowing what sociology breaks down and being from where I'm from and wanting to do different things for my family and for my seed and all that. Like, nah, let's do that. So, you know, it's all a reflection of it.
Okay. That's dope, man. So look, I want to talk, move along, man. I want to talk about, this is my favorite project. I think you already know what I'm about to say. And I know you mentioned, you said a lot of fans say this project is their favorite and this one, but I'm gonna be honest, man, brother. This is not one of my favorite Skyzoo projects. This is one of my favorite hip hop projects, period, brother. In my top 10 of all time.
Oh man,
Music for My Friends, brother.
Okay, word up.
I've been waiting. What's this? 2021. I've been waiting 6 years, man, to talk about this project, man. Tell me about the inspiration for one of the greatest hip hop albums ever made, brother.
Thank you, bro. Oh man, man, I just bringing it back to, you know, like I said, the sociology aspect. For me, I started thinking about why we move the way we move as a people, as Black folk in the city, urban environments, the hood, quote unquote. And I thought about the most impressionable age, which is like 13 years old. Okay. You know, they say you learn all of your motor skills and coping on when you're 4 or 5 years old, but the age that you really start figuring this shit out and whatever you're gonna become in life as a man or a woman happens when you're around 13. Like that's
facts, bro. I couldn't hold that in, brother. I couldn't hold it in, but that's facts, bro. Continue.
You know what? Because here's the thing, right? Like when you turn 13, when you're around that age, your voice start changing a little bit. You start getting a little hair, whatever that. Or if you're a woman, you start developing a little bit. You know, your responsibilities increase. You're looked at a different way walking down the street by police. You're not a little 5-10-year-old kid no more. Right. You're looked at as somebody who may be able to fight back a little bit if the police think something is on. So now they're gonna really treat you a certain way, but you're still a kid, right? Like you're 13, you see a little girl with a little body in your class, and you having these thoughts like a man, but you're still writing a Christmas list to your parents, still writing a wish list, right? Like, you know, you're still getting told take out the garbage or iron your clothes or do the dishes, but your voice is changing and you pick up the phone and you sound like a man. There's all this confusion. I thought I was a man. I thought I was becoming a man, but I still feel like a kid. There's all this middle ground confusion when you're about 13. So
I think that at that age, you also, you know, you started to develop your taste, like a taste for different things, whether it's music, whether it's culture, whether it's women.
Who you gonna become that's when that seed starts growing, you know. And I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to really hone in on being 13 years old, and the stories and the things that happen on there are really shit that happened to my friends and I. And that's why on the project you hear all my friends doing drops. You know what I mean? Like I just
those are real friends of yours.
Yeah, those are my real friends. Like I just woke up one day with this idea of, yo, when you have mixtape DJs or celebs do drops, what if I have my friends do drops on my album? That would be nuts. You know what I mean? Like, I was calling my friends like, yo, come to the lab tomorrow. All right, I'm with you. Yo, come to the lab. You know I'm outside. All right, just come to the lab. You go back outside. All right, cool. You know, whatever. Like, those are my friends. Like, some of those guys did bids. Some of those guys was dirty when they came to the lab. Whatever. Those are my friends. And I was like, yo, come through. I mean, you hear me talk about A on every album. A's my best friend in the world. That's my brother. He got a drop on it. I was like, yo, son, come to the lab tomorrow. All right, cool. Come to the lab, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, those are my real friends who did drops, you know? So it really was about what was going on with my friends and I. And it's beautiful, man. It's definitely a beautiful album. I love that album. I love the artwork, man. You know, shout out to Chris Murray who did it. Love the artwork, and it all just came together right, man. You know, it was the first time a lot of people heard Wes, you know what I mean? And you know, a lot of that stuff was a great time.
Yeah, I remember, the song, with so many great songs on there. Luxury. We got Sia Key, Woman Who Can Cook. My favorite, the standout song on there, this that introduced me to the brother who introduced me to you as far as putting this interview together, Scar Akbar, man. And I bring him up. I bring him up, man, because early you mentioned, like, you don't really go by, the numbers and popularity. If you rocking with somebody, and I'm paraphrasing what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if you fuck with somebody, you don't have no problem putting them on. And at that time, man, I've heard of Scar. He from the area. He from Baltimore, from DC.
Yeah.
I heard of him before, but I'm gonna be honest, man. Hearing them on that song, that's when I instantly became a fan, man. So, how was it, man, linking up with that brother, man? And just talk about some of the songs on that project, man. Like, Woman That Could Cook. But shout out to Scar, man. Talk about how you linked up with
Scar. My bro, man. Shout out to my man Scar, boy. That's my bro. It's funny, we actually got the same birthday, so that's like my fake twin. You know what I mean? Like, we got the same birthday.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but
Christmas Eve babies.
Christmas Eve, yeah. So I met Scar in like 2009, 2010 through my homegirl Polka. That's like my sister. And she was cool with him from being in Baltimore and all that. We just got super cool. So I got this thing where, like, I won't do a show in Baltimore unless he could open. You know what I mean? Like, anytime I get booked in B-More, they know I'll be like, yo, I need a spot for my man. You know what I mean? And hold on, let me get the plug for this computer.
Nah, go ahead, do your thing.
I'll bring it back so you can edit it.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah,
all right. So I got this thing where, like, anytime I do a show in Baltimore, I gotta get an opening spot for my man. Like, my man gotta go on right before me. That's just what it is. He's from the town. He's from East Side. He's plugged out there. He connected, and that's my man. So yeah, I'm gonna hold it down. So the only time he don't do it is if he can't, if he's busy that night or whatever. Otherwise, I'll be like, yo, bro, I'm gonna be in town next month doing a show. Yo, you on the bill? I bet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's love always. So fast forward, he holds me down out there with whatever I need, and that's family. And when I did the record, asking Bodie for a package, it only makes sense. You know what I mean? If I'm a super duper wirehead. You know what I mean? I'm actually binging it right now for like the 30th time, but I'm actually in the middle of season 4 right now.
What's your favorite season? Real quick. What's your favorite season for The Wire, man?
Without a doubt, 4.
I tell everybody 4 is the best season.
Nah,
man.
4 is some of the greatest writing in literature history, no matter what realm of writing, whether it's, books, novels, whether it's television, playwrights, movies. There's not anything that can compete with the writing on season 4. It's out of control, man. It's scary good. It's nuts. It's out of, like, I don't know how you one up that. It's like an album. Like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, yo,
the season that followed it was really good. But season 4 set the bar so high that it kind of made season 5 look. It made it kind of look like a disappointment a little bit, man. But when you look at it now, you can't really say that. But 4 was just that good. Nah,
4 was so good. Like, it was painfully good. Pause. Like, it was a different experience. You know what I mean? Like, 4 was crazy. But anyway, so it just made sense. I had the idea for the record, asking Bodie for a package. You look at on the show, they were supposed to be like 13 years old. You outside getting busy at 13, you being forced into that life. That's a reality for a lot of 13-year-olds, and some of them was my friends. So, it made sense from the concept angle that I was talking about. And then when I did it, I was like, well, I gotta get Scar on this. You know what I mean? Like, he from there, it just makes sense. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I hit him. I think my deadline was kind of crazy. And he did it like overnight. I was like, yo, bro, like, I hate to do this to you. This is the last record I did on the album. My deadline is nuts, dog. I gotta turn this in by like tomorrow night. And I'm gonna go to the lab today. And he went to the lab that day and did it and sent it back, and everything was great.
That's what's up, man. So look, on that, you mentioned, one of that Luxury was a lot of people's first time hearing West Side Gun. And I remember hearing him. I've been hearing the name a little bit, West Side Gun and Conway and this, but it really stood out to me on that project. how did you guys link up? And because later on I remember you did you was on his project, the Fly God. But so how did how did you guys build and as you guys continue to do music, how did y'all link up?
I met Wes in 2014. 2014, he emailed me just randomly. I think somebody wanted to book me for a show in Buffalo. And maybe he was a part of it or involved with it. I don't remember. But he emailed me. Yo, peace. My name is Westside Gun. Blah, 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 blah. I got some people trying to put together a show. Wanted to figure it out. I was like, yeah, let me know. We could figure some things out. And he was like, yo, also, I'm an artist. I would love to build with you. And then we was going back and forth on the email a little bit for a while. And I was like, yeah, let's build. Boom, boom, boom. And I was like, yo, I'm going to be in Atlanta for E13 next week. But then after that, I'll kind of be around. He was like, yo, I'm going to be there too. So I was like, I bet let's just meet there. Let's connect when we there. So gave him my math or whatever. And we met, at A3C. And, I went to the lab with him. He took me to the lab and he was playing some joints or whatever. He was playing some beats and he had this one beat and Monk did it. Camouflage Monk did it.
Camouflage, yeah.
And we did it on the spot. And that became Rolex. That became this joint called Rolex. So I'm going to put it on my next project. Hitler Wears Hermes 3. I was like, all right, word. And when I was leaving, Derringer gave me a CD. He was like, yo, take that with you. That's some of our latest work. And it was Hitler Wears Hermes 2. I was like, all right, cool. I took the CD. A week later, I'm going to Yonkers to do See a Key with Jadakiss. So if you know Brooklyn to Yonkers, it's like an hour drive easily. It's like a good hour.
Damn.
So yeah, it's a little. You gotta go past the Bronx and all that. It's from Brooklyn. It's about an hour. Traffic, whatever. It's about an hour. I was like, yo, on the drive, I'm gonna listen to Money Joint. I'm gonna listen to his joint the whole way there, the whole way back. I want to check it out. And when I was listening to it, man, that Hitler 2, it was just bananas. I was like, yo, this is insane. And I remember on the way back, I called him, and I was like, yo, bro, man, I just wanted to give you some love and just show you like the impact you have. And I was like, yo, this shit is nuts. And he was like, man, I appreciate that, man. I was like, I ain't even want to text you. I wanted to call you so you know it's real. Like, I ain't even want to text you. I wanted to call you and just give you that word. Like, yo, this shit is beautiful. I say, yo, you making beautiful music, bro. Like, you really making some beautiful music. And he was like, man, the game is so funny style and so fake. I appreciate you being real and calling me and telling me that, man. The game is funny and it's hard to get in. And he was like, I appreciate that. And I was like, nah, no doubt. I said, yo, whatever you need from me, consider it done. He was like, yo, you'll be down to shoot the video for Rolex. I was like, absolutely. Like, let's do it. So he brought me out to Buffalo. Maybe a month or two later, he brought me out to Buffalo. And I spent the whole weekend in Buffalo. Man, he took me to the hood. He took me to the trap. We were in spots. He took me to the pizza spot, Lenova. He took me to the Rolex spot where we shot the video, the fish spot. He took me to the sandwich spot. We was on the corner. It was beautiful. He just took me everywhere. Like, I had a Buffalo weekend crammed in, you know what I mean? It was crazy. And I met Conway and I met Benny and I met all them on that trip, you know what I mean? And I met all them out there and, Fahim and, all of them. Like, I met all of them on that weekend and we was just running around crazy. Malek, my brother Malek, all of them. And
yeah, you said Malek. You was talking about Malek. My bad, brother.
Yeah. So, my brother Malek, all of them was out there and I met all of them in one big Buffalo weekend. And I was like, man, y'all motherfuckers got something, man. I know it. Like, this is going to be crazy. And the love was dope, man. And, Wes gave me one of the hoodies, that everybody be going crazy for. He gave me. Now I got like 30 different joints because that's my brother.
He was doing merch back then.
Back then, yeah, but it was new, so it wasn't what it is now, obviously, because it's a different thing now. But he already was on that. He was already on that vision. He gave me one of the hoodies and all that, and I wore it a bunch of times on the gram right after that to show some love and everything. And it was love, and we just kept it going. So then, fast forward, when I was working on music for my friends, when I did Luxury, I just had this idea of somebody like him doing a hook, and I likened it to when Method Man did the hook on Cream. Like, I mean, not cream, ice cream. I'm sorry. When Method Man did the hook on Ice Cream, and I was like, yo, the way he did that hook on Ice Cream, it was like you wanted him to rhyme, but even though he didn't rhyme, you still loved it because he did such a crazy hook, and it made you look at him as a full-on artist and not just a dude with a hot verse. It made you look at him like a full-on artist. Yeah. And that's the vision I had. And I was like, yo, man, West got some beautiful music, man. I want these motherfuckers to know it. You know what I'm saying? And I hit him and I was like, yo, bro, I got this joint. Would you be down to do the hook? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I sent it to him and, you know, we kind of wrote the hook together and then he rocked it out. You know, he started it as far as all the writing and then I wrote some of the stuff at the end on the hook and he knocked it out. And it was great. And then we did the video and then boom, fast forward and they out of here. You know what I mean? Like
now that particular song, you produced that one, didn't you?
Yeah, me and Ilman. What happened was I had the idea for it and I called Ilman and I was like, yo, bro, like I know this beat that I want to make. I got this vision in my head, but I don't know how to work the machinery. And I went to his studio, whatever, and then he just coached me on how to work it and what to do. And, you know, we put that together. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. Like I said, I love that particular project, man. I want to move on, man. Like I said, I got a couple of more projects and, man, we're going to wrap this thing up. But I want to talk about what you just dropped. I'm not going to say you just dropped, but you did Retropolitan with Pete Rock. Prior to that, man, you did The Easy Truth with Apollo Brown, 2 classics. But I want to move it up to current, man. You know, so just this past year, you know, you dropped a project with Double Station.
Yeah, the Bluest Note.
The Bluest Note, man. This project right here, man. I'm not gonna lie, brother. You surprised me with this, man. Talk to me about the Bluest Note and talk to me about Dumbo Station, man. Educate us a little bit about Dumbo Station.
Yeah, so I always wanted to do a jazz band project because I'm a jazz head. Everybody know.
Talk about that, man. Talk about that.
Yeah.
Your love for jazz, man.
I'm a jazz head, man. I listen to more jazz than hip hop. You know, literally like all day long, I listen to jazz radio, jazz playlists on my phone that I create. I got tons of jazz vinyl. I look like a DJ, all the jazz vinyl I got. You know, I'm just a jazz head, you know, so I always say, yo, I want to do a project with a full-on jazz band, like the Roots, like some Roots type shit. 2017 or 2018, something. I'm on tour with Apollo. We in Europe. So we in Italy. This dude comes up to me at a show, introduces himself. Yo, you know, boom, boom. My name is Dom. I got a label out here in Italy. I got a jazz band. I would love to get you in the studio with them for an album. So my ears already went off. Like, oh, right. Like, this is something out of this bucket list. I've been thinking about this forever.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, man, check my math, boom, 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 boom. And, you know, can you send me some of their stuff? So he was like, yeah, he sent me a link for their album. The band is called Dumbo Station. And I pressed play and I loved it. I was like, yo, these kids is nuts. They nuts. Like, let's do it. So him and I started talking and whatever. And then I went to Italy for a week and we did the joint. We did it in about 5 days. We did the whole joint. We did the whole thing in Italy together. And I did a lot of co-production on the project where I would go to the instruments and tell them what to do. So like I may come up with a drum idea and tell the drummer, yo, do this. Boom, down, boom, boom, down, boom. All right.
That's a producer. That's producer.
Right.
That's what Diddy do.
It's Puffy shit. It's Quincy Jones shit. So I co-wrote a lot of the musical arrangements. I'll go to the bass and be like, yo, let's do it like this. I'll go to the keys, yo, let's do it like that. I go to the sax, yo, let's do it like that. You know, whatever. Yeah. And I wrote it all on the spot. You know me, I write everything on the spot. And it was dope. I just spent a week in Italy knocking out an EP with a jazz band, eating good, drinking good, chilling, knocking out music. It was nice, you know. So I did that. And it was a blast, man. I would love to do more. But if I don't do any more jazz band projects, I got that one. You know, it don't mean I won't do more. I would love to do more. I'd do 100 more. But if I never do it again, I got it out of my system and it was great.
Okay. See, the reason why I brought up that project, I know you did Milestone. I want to touch. That's the last project I'm gonna touch on. But the reason why I brought that project because I'm also an avid jazz lover who loves hip hop and
Right.
rhythm and blues. But it stood out to me, man, because I remember when you was advertising on your Instagram and Twitter, it's called the Bluest Note. So if most people, if someone is, most people are not familiar with the label, the Blue Note record label.
Mm-hmm.
And so I at once, you know, so when you dropped it, brother, I thought you was like signs of Blue Note, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, whoa, this is dope, man. But I always, you know, I follow you on Instagram, I follow you on Twitter, and you always have these dope playlists, man. By the way, you still doing that?
Yeah, I haven't done it in a while just because I've been busy, man. You know, I've had a lot going on trying to finish this new record and a couple things. Okay. But my people be hitting me all the time, like, yo, where's the playlist, bro? And I'm like, I know. It's a lot of work that goes into those, man. You know what I mean? Like, but I love it, man. I love it. And I need to get back on it. I might try to whip up another one this week and get that going again. But yeah, I have a blast doing those, you know.
I was looking forward to those every Sunday, man. You know. It was good. It was refreshing, man, to see somebody else this shit. Because being in hip hop, man, you know, a lot of times, you know, we are so isolated from other genres. You know, a lot of you know, artists in hip hop and even the fans, unfortunately, are just not exposed to other cultures and other genres of music. And when I see an artist like yourself, not just being a casual lover of jazz, you knowing guys like Dexter Gordon and Lee Morgan, and you know, like you said, what you had this one line you said about Lee Morgan of the Sty,
like Lee Morgan of the Sty. Yeah, I love Lee Morgan.
I love Lee Morgan, man.
Yeah,
I love Lee Morgan, man, and I'm a huge Dexter Gordon fan. I'm a huge jazz aficionado myself, man. So that's another reason, man, why I'm so glad to have you on the platform, man. Just to let other people know, man, that it's other dope genres outside of hip hop, man.
And all of those genres help build hip hop because you look at hip hop. Hip hop is the one genre that samples everything, right? Like we sample jazz, we sample soul, we sample pop, we sample rock, we sample blues, we sample everything. You know what I mean? And we turn it into hip hop, you know? So if you love hip hop, you gotta be open-minded to other genres, whether you want to or not. Because you could be listening to a record that samples the Beatles or samples heavy metal or samples, you know, Lee Morgan, Gordon, you know, John Coltrane, like you gotta be you're open-minded without knowing it if you're a hip-hop fan.
I think a lot of times, man, you know, as the time goes on, and you know, a lot of times we as a people, and I hate to say this, man, but we as Black people, man, I don't think we do a really good job as far as preserving our culture and our legends, man.
We're the worst at it. We're the worst at it.
We should know who Lee Morgan and Dexter. You should know who John Coltrane is, man. You should know about Bitches Brew. Like,
we got to do a better job at it. I think for one, we take it for granted. For two, we're too concerned with what's the next cool and what's the next thing that we can be accepted by everyone else who isn't us. So we move forward quicker, you know, like we don't preserve it right. And you're absolutely correct on that. And we need to do a better job with that, you know?
I mean, and like I said, man, I bring that up because you know, my platform is called Bridging the Generations. I'm trying to bridge the gap, you know, bridge the generation as far as I want people to know about the Skyzoos and the West Side Guns and the Torre, all these dope artists, these indie artists that you may not hear on the radio, but to me are like 10 times better than the guys that are here on the radio. But then, you know, we should also know about the Kenneth Gambles and Leon Huffs and the Quincy Jones and, you know, Miles Davis and all these other great artists within the culture that we sample from. So not to be on that too long, man, but it's great seeing an artist like yourself, man. It's one of the things where I feel like you're a unicorn. It's refreshing, you know.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Nah. So look, this last project, man, I want to talk about, man, and I believe this project came out before. I don't know if it came out before the Bluest Note or maybe after, but
it came out after. It was Father's Day weekend.
Okay. All right. So I stand corrected, man. I love this project, man. We talking about Milestone, man. So this project really hits home, man. I want to hear your inspiration and tell me about how you came to develop this particular project, man, because this is another masterpiece right here, man.
Thank you. Thank you. It's one of the ones I'm most proud of, man, because of what it means and what it represents. The idea behind it, it started with one song. It started with a song for fathers, which is obviously Hard Silver song for my father. Oof. You know, me flipping that. So it started with that. I always had the idea of redoing that record, doing a cover version, like a hip hop version of it, flipping it, chopping it, and all that. And I thought about the fact that when it came to hip hop, there weren't a lot of records that spoke about fatherhood in a positive light. You know, you had Will Smith, Just the Two of Us, which is incredible. You had Nas, Daughters, which is great. But even Daughters, he talks about how he dropped the ball at times.
Facts.
You know, I was on tour, and when I came home, you had condoms in your drawer. I should have been around more, like, you know, all that type of stuff that he says on the record. Mm-hmm. So even on that, even though it's a great record celebrating fatherhood with Daughters, he talks about how he dropped the ball and he could have been a better father. There was no record that was just thank you for being a great father. Thank you for being the best. You're amazing. Thank you for all you do for me. But there's a million mothers records. Dear Mama, I'll Always Love My Mama, Boys to Men, Mama. There's a million of them, but there weren't any father records. And I'm a father, and I have a father who never left me a day in my life, you know, who was every single day was there. I don't have the story of, yo, I ain't know my dad. I don't have that story. You know what I mean? Like, my friends do, so I understand.
You have to. Wow. I want to say this, and please do not forget your what you're about to say. I just want to interject real quick. You know, a lot of times, to piggyback off what you're saying, you know, a lot of times it seems like we celebrate those moments, those situations, and I feel like when I mean celebrate those situations and those shortcomings, those things, I don't feel like not having a father. You know, we shouldn't be looking at someone who does have a father and looking at someone who doesn't have one, and we looking at that person and kind of having some type of envy or jealousy or whatever, because at the end of the day, we're fathers, and you don't want nobody looking at your child who you are present in their life. So I say that to say this, it was refreshing, man, for you to come at that project and those songs from that perspective, man, because at the end of the day, there's another side of Black fatherhood and you know, relationships. It's another side. It's not all. Every Black man is not a deadbeat. Every Black man is not.
You know what it is, man?
Child. So
just kind of tapping into
that was refreshing, man.
Yeah, thank you. Just tapping into the point that you're making. The reason why it's looked at like that is because hip hop is the music of the struggle and of the people, right? Like, we don't have nothing, we don't have much, but we have this, and we're gonna make it and tell our story whether you like it or not, and we're gonna give it to you raw and real, and that's beautiful. That's hip hop. I mean, that's what I do. That's the music I make. Mm-hmm. But that's why it's quote unquote cool to have the story of my dad wasn't around, but I made it anyway. My dad wasn't around, so I had it hard, and I had to be the man of the house and provide for my mother and my sister, but I made it, and now I'm popping. Right. Yo, I came out in the struggle in the street with no father, and boom, I made it. Mm-hmm. So that's why a lot of guys who did grow up with their father in hip hop, they don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it.
You know what I mean? Either you didn't grow up with your father and you never knew him and he sucked, or if you did, you don't talk about it. You don't talk about your father. You talk about your moms, or you don't talk about either parent because you don't want it to come up that you had both. You don't talk about it.
Because people look at, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, people will look in the inner city, and you can, and you know what it is, man. Even though that wasn't your situation, but matter of fact, you probably can relate. But people look at that guy that had a father, and they build some type of resentment towards that person. But I don't know, maybe
that's because they don't have it. Because that's because they don't have it. You know, like the guy next to you, you know, you eating good, and he not eating. Of course, he gonna feel away now. If he was eating too, then maybe you know it'll be a different thing, and y'all eat together, and you know he's celebrating you eating, and vice versa. So it's the same thing where it's like, you know, people that didn't have a father, they feel, oh, you think you all that because you got your father. You know what I mean? Just like the girls would be like, oh, you think you all that because you got long hair. You know, saying that to the Puerto Rican girl with the long hair because she don't got long hair. You know what I mean? But if she had it, she wouldn't be saying that. So, you know, that's just the way of the world, and that's just the way us as human beings think, especially in America, especially in the inner city. All these layers get involved. But for me, like my dad was one of two dads on the block in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like out of 30 kids running around, you know what I mean? Like it was my dad and there was one other dad across the street, and that was it. You know what I mean? So, you know, there was no animosity or whatever on my block. I mean, my pop became everybody pop. Like I talk about on the album, like my pop became everybody pop. You know, like you need advice, ask Mr. Taylor. Yeah. Ice cream truck is here, ask Mr. Taylor. Now he ain't gonna give everybody $1, but you got the heart to ask. You know what I mean? Like is what it was. But right. Just, you know, moving forward, I wanted to dispel that. I wanted to give us an anthem. I wanted something that if you're a hip hop lover and you're a father, or you're a hip hop lover and you have a father, you can play this for them on every Father's Day, or you can play this to celebrate every Father's Day. I wanted to give us an anthem. So it started with one song. And when I did a song for fathers, I loved it so much. I was like, man, what if I turned this into a whole project and made a whole Father's Day project? I didn't want to do an album because it would have been too much to do 14, 15 songs about that. But I was like, a nice EP would be dope. 6, 7 songs, really talking about fatherhood, using my experiences with my dad and then my experiences with my toddler son that I'm raising, and talk about that whole world and that bubble and me being in the middle, passing the baton. So I'm getting the baton from here, and all I'm doing is passing it to my son, passing it to Miles. Then in 25, 30 years, he passed it to his kid, and boom, boom, boom. And, you know, that's what it's supposed to be. You're just passing the baton. That's all this shit in life really is. So it started with one song, and then I was like, I think I got a few more in me when it comes to this topic. And I just built the storyline of, okay, me as a kid, growing up with my dad, 2 different houses, never lived with both of my parents in the same house, like ever. Like I never saw my parents share a room. You know, I never saw my parents.
Hold up. I'm gonna have to pause. I'm gonna have to stop.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna have to stop you. Now on Celebration of Us, I remember you had like on an interlude, like you know, starting the album off, the intro. I mean, and it was a gentleman. He was talking about having a son, and I believe that was that. You know, is all of that real? Like that's not just a story.
My dad. So that was my man, but those was 2 of my mans doing the skit. But it was supposed to be my pop and my dog.
But what I'm saying is that what really is that the story? Like, is that real? All of that real?
Yeah. That was my pop story.
Always wanted to know.
That was my pop story. You know, my pops was 20 years old when he had me. My mother was 19, and my pop was outside. You know what I mean? Like if you from Brooklyn, if you from Flatbush in the late 70s, early 80s, you know my pops. You know what I mean? My pops was outside for real. And when he had me, he calmed down. You know, he pulled back a little bit on that. He still was thugging, but he pulled back a little bit on that, you know. So that's that intro on the album. I wrote that whole skit out, and I just called 2 of my mans to come in and reenact it. And it's supposed to be my pops and my godfather, because my pops was running around with my godfather and they was doing da-da-da-da-da. And that's him telling the story of, yo, Lisa's about to have a boy, man. Lisa's my mom's, you know, yo, Lisa's about to have a baby, man. She's gonna have a boy. Oh, word? Yo, that's crazy. Yo, congratulations. You know, yeah, man, I gotta slow down out here, man. I gotta cool out here. All that was stuff that my pops was going through, because he told me those are the stories that he would tell me all the time. Like, yo, I was running around, and then when I knew you was on the way, I chilled and blah, 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 blah. So, you know, that was where that comes from. So now moving back into milestones, just the story of like, you know, having both my parents in my life every day, but not being in the same house with them at the same time. Like I never had both parents in the house at one time. I always had 2 cribs, my mother crib, my father crib, mom's crib. Like every weekend I was at the other person's house, back and forth, just like Boys in the Hood. So that's how the whole Boys in the Hood element on the project came together.
What's that? The Turning 10 song.
Right. And then even just the whole project, like how I use skits all over the album from the movie and all that. That was my life. You know, I remember my pop took me to see Boys in the Hood. I was like 9 years old or whatever. And he took me to see Boys in the Hood. And I had to write a book report about it. Just like I talked about how my pops would make me write all these book reports about movies. And he took me to see it. And I thought I was looking at myself at 9 years old. In the beginning of the movie, I was like, yo, that's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because
That's real. That's real.
he's with his mother, he's with his father on the weekends, and then he moves in with his father, and then it's switched where he lived with his father, and now he's with his mother on the weekends. That was my life. When I was 10 years old, I went from living with my moms and visiting my pops to living with my pops and visiting my moms. Like, so I'm watching the screen in the movies, and I'm like, yo, that's us. You know what I mean? So when I did the album, I decided to use all the skits from the movie just to help tie the story together and give it that as kind of like a mascot to help sell it, to help, to help drive the point home,
Got you. Yeah, your concepts, man, and your knowledge of pop culture is another thing. Like I said, man, what makes you one of my favorite artists, man. It's, like you had this one line, and I'm not gonna spit it, but it's the line that you spit on for my friends, music for my friends, when you got the thing from Boomerang, Strawn J, Strawn. Like, I love that line, man.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like, a lot of people didn't catch that. Like a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people may not have caught that, man. But if you remember the movie Boomerang, I could go on and on, a lot of different pop culture representing your music, man. But brother, like I said, man, it's an honor to have you on the platform, man. I want to ask you this, man, before we go, brother. Being that I consider you a very successful artist, man. I hate to even say underground, because to me, in my world, you're mainstream. You played on the speakers 24/7 in my crib, to all the niggas that I know, everybody that I rock with. We rock with Skyzoo heavy here in DC. But what would be some of the no doubt, man. What would be some of the advice, man, that you would give to an indie artist, man, who's maybe contemplated of giving up, man, because he doesn't see the success, coming as fast as he wanted, man, and he feel he's dope. He may not be as dope as you, or may not be as successful, but he might feel like it might be time to hang it up.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying. My thing would be, first off, success is in the eye of the beholder. My vision of success and the next man's vision of success could be the same, or it could be totally different, but it doesn't mean that they don't exist and they're not what success should be. Right. So for me, I always tell people, up and coming artists, people who want advice, I always be like, yo, man, listen, first of all, know that it's a business that you're getting into. So it's going to move like a business. The love is what's going to push you through, because there's a lot of times something will happen and I'll be like, I ain't doing this shit no more, man. You know what I mean? I ain't doing this no more. Because it'll be a lot of nonsense and a lot of bullshit that, drive you to a certain place, and, you trying to do this and you trying to do that, and you got things going on business-wise, I'm talking about.
I got you.
And it'll turn into somebody not keeping their word, or some nonsense going on, or you trying to make something happen, whether it's a record or a feature or a look or a tour or whatever it is. And there's hurdles and things that get in the way, like any business. I'm sure, dude who owned 30 McDonald's and got millions be like, yo, I'm about to sell all these shits because this is nuts. I can't take it. Like, it's in every realm, there's those moments. So they're going to do everything they can to throw all that shit at you when you coming in, right? And there's a lot of things that you're going to be like, man, I ain't know this could go that way. I thought this was one way and it's the other way, on some Marlo shit. And it's like, yo, it'll make you not want to do this no more. You know what I mean? But the love is what makes you wake up the next day and be like, man, I was bugging. I ain't going nowhere. So if you love it, you'll be fine. If you don't love it and you're only in it for the bread, you're not going to stick around, because there's going to be a lot of shit that happens that could drive you out. But if you love what you're doing, you'll be able to withstand all the nonsense that comes with this and push through and be there for the highs and be there for the success and be there for the moments that you got in it for. Like, yo, that felt great getting my record played. That felt great doing those interviews. Or that felt great putting that record out and everybody loving it and touching people and making some money and going on tour, all that. And, I say, being on the radio all day is great. Being on TV all day is great. Being on the cover of magazines, all that stuff is amazing. And when you coming up as an artist, you want that. You envision that. The difference is, what are you willing to do to get it? Some people are willing to do anything. I'm not willing to do anything to get it. You know what I mean? Or so I could have had it a long time ago. Like, I've had major label deals offered. I've turned them down. I've never been signed to a major label in my life. I've had major label offers. I turned them down. That doesn't look right. I'm not with that. That doesn't seem right. I'm not with that. We need to renegotiate that. Oh, we can't? All right, I'm out. I can't do it. You know, where some other people may have, because they're like, yo, if I just do this now, I could be Drake level and I could go. You know what I mean? And granted, of course, being able to have all that paper is amazing, you know, but for me, I said, well, there's a way that I can make this paper and still be me, still be able to look myself in the mirror when I make these records, still have this legacy, and still have people like yourself talking about me and feeling about me the way that you do. I was like, there's got to be a way. I don't got to go all the way here and be broke. I don't got to go all the way here and not be able to look myself in the mirror. There's a middle ground where I can have all this paper and be nice, but still have this artistic integrity and this freedom and being able to do what I want musically. And that's the world I've been able to build and create. Thank God. A lot of people don't have that luxury. I know guys on major labels that I'm homies with that look at me and be like, man, I wish I was in your shoes. And these guys on the radio every day. These guys just want to do every day. These guys can't walk the street without people. And they my mans, and they like, yo, I kill to be where you at, bro. Like, to be able to make the music I want without any red tape and any bullshit, because I'm so large. I got to have this red tape around me to dictate what's going on, and we can't put this record out, and we can't do that, and the video got to be this, just to have that freedom and that vision. And man, you know, so the grass is always greener, you know what I mean? So you know, you just got to put it together the way you put it together, man, and just know that it's a business. Know that they're gonna try to throw it all at you, but if you love it, you'll be able to push through, and you can do what you got to do, man, and love what you're doing, and be proud of what you're doing, and be successful, you know?
No doubt. You know, just to piggyback off what you're saying, man, I feel like you was a testament to that, man, as far as, you know, as long as you're doing, like you just mentioned, man, you said you ain't worked the job in 16 years, man. You ain't worked for nobody, man. You winning, brother.
Thank you.
You winning. It doesn't matter. You ain't got to be a billionaire, millionaire. Brother, you wake up, you do what you want to do, and you do it at the end of the day, you do what you love. You winning, brother.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And I don't want for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's no such thing as too much money. You know what I mean? So, but at the same time,
but all money ain't good money though.
Right. That true. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna be like, yo, yeah, I made enough money. I'm good. Hell no. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't want for anything. I don't miss no meals. You know, we had all this Corona, man, with Corona going on, you know, the amount of touring that I lost and merchandise that I lost because of that, you know, and obviously that don't mean nothing when it comes to the lives. So rest in peace to all the people that have been impacted. I've lost family members due to it and all that type of stuff. So it's been real, you know, but when we just talking about the business and the financial side of it, man, I lost a ton as far as the tours I was supposed to go on. We didn't feel like we lost nothing in my house because we've been blessed to be all right. So now I'm not on the radio every day and all that, but you couldn't tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. Like, we ain't miss a meal. Like when Corona hit, we felt it, but we didn't feel it financially. We felt it emotionally. We felt it as far as, you know, making sure my son was good because he's a toddler and you got to teach him to wear the mask and all that. We felt it as far as being paranoid to go to the supermarket. Felt it in that way. Financially, we didn't feel nothing. You know what I mean? And that's a blessing. That's not a gloat. That's a blessing. That's God looking out. And that's the fact that the mailman was still delivering publishing checks, even though I wasn't able to go on tour. You know what I mean? Like, the mailman was still delivering royalty checks, even though I wasn't able to go on tour and sell merch in Europe. You know what I mean? Like, everything was still clicking. And I say that to say that's a testament to God looking out, of course, and also me being true to who I am and the career that I built, where I could still cook, still make money, still be straight, but not have to do some shit that I regret tomorrow musically. Like, damn, I made that fucking record trying to get on, trying to pop, trying to be hot, and it ain't go that way. Like, nah, I don't have to do that. I'm never going to do that. Any record I made, whether it was Luxury, whether it was the Crown Holder, any Speakers on Blast, any record that had radio potential and radio appeal, I didn't make it to try to blow up. I made it because I thought it was a great record. I knew it could hit the radio. I knew the way it was built and the beat and all that. But I made it because it made sense on the album and it was the mood I was in and I wanted to make it.
Yeah. At this point in your career, do you even feel like, like you need radio? Because I mean, honestly, brother,
Nah,
you good.
nah. It's dope. I'm never going to shun away from the radio. If the radio wanted to pick up some of my records tomorrow, I'm not going to be like, nah, get out of here. Hell no, I'm going to give them the record. You know what I mean? But, I'm not out there like beating the drum, like, yo, man, if I'm not on the radio tomorrow, I'm gonna die. Like, hell no, like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are the radio. You know what I mean? People like you and the podcasts and the playlists and the people. The radio is Instagram. Somebody tagging your joint on the gram while they in the gym working out. Like, so and granted, the radio is an incredible medium, but if they rocking, cool. If they didn't get onto it yet, or there's no room for it, because I know how that works. I know how that beast works. I'm cool. I'm cool if it ain't on there, as long as the people know. There's people who live on the radio that can't sell out a show.
That's facts.
You know what I mean? I never be on the radio and I sell out mad shows.
Yeah. That's dope. I was talking to Ransom about that, man. He feel the same way, man. He's another. I feel like another legend, man. But he shares that sentiment as far as, man, as long as you're able to do what you love and the people, they revere what you put out, man, you winning,
Yeah, you build your core, you build your core, man, and you build that equity and that belief, you'll never lose them. Another piece of advice I give artists all the time before we go, I tell artists, man, I go, yo, if you build a base that believes in you and rides with you 100%, you'll never go broke. All you got to do is keep feeding them the right way. So look at it like if you got a restaurant, you got a soul food restaurant, and everybody knows, yo, they got the best soul food in town, man. I'm going there. And one day somebody come to the restaurant who been coming to you for years, and you put out a pizza. They're going to be like, yo, I don't want no fucking pizza. I came here for this. If I wanted pizza, I'd have went around the corner to the spot. I came for soul food. Oh, you giving me pizza now? I don't know if I'm coming back here no more because I don't know what to believe. I can't trust it. I knew before every time I came here, y'all had what I wanted. Now I come here, you giving me a pizza. I don't know if I'm coming here no more. That's what happens where you build up equity and then you go try to make a record to pop. And it's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Your base is like, wait a minute, I thought you was this guy or this girl who did this. Which I love. And if I'm in the mood for this, I go see them. Giving me some other shit. If I wanted that, I'll go over there.
Right.
If I wanted to be whatever, I'll go listen to Ross. I'll go listen to Future. And they're all great artists, So if I'm in that mood, I'll go there. If I'm in the mood for pizza, I'll go to that spot. But I'm in the mood for soul food. I came to you. You giving me fucking pizza. Like, I can't trust it. You come to me, you're never gonna get what you're not coming for.
Right.
That's why I've been able to build the equity that I've been able to build. Period.
Like when you surprise me, like when you give me like an element of surprise, it's an element of surprise of, greatness. It's not an element of surprise of a disappointment.
Right. It's like
artists have given me, and I don't want to say no names, but they've given me an element of surprise of disappointments.
Right. They tried to do something, you like, oh, they tried to do that, and it ain't work. Like, you look at in Celebration of Us, on Heirlooms and Accessories, when it switches up on the second half, and it's like a trap beat, and I'm rhyming fast, and it's still like, yo, this shit is crazy. It's not, yo, he tried to do a trap record. It's like, yo, this shit is nuts. Like, yo, he went off on that, and he's still on the same topic that he was on the first half of the record, and the beat is crazy. It's a trap beat, but it's crazy. It still feels like it's in line with the hip hop beat that came on right before it, and he dumbed out on it. All right, we good. Or just like, on Black Sambo, I'm rhyming fast. But you feel like, yo, this shit is dumb.
It wasn't no Migos type shit. You still sounded like Sky.
Exactly. That's my point. So even when I gave you a different type of dish at the restaurant, it was still soul food. It was like, yo, this shit crazy. I still got what I wanted, but it had a little twist on it, and it was crazy. But it wasn't no pizza. You know what I mean? I ain't give you pizza. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't go all the way up. I just gave you something with a twist to it. You know what I mean? And that's how you're able to expand while still keeping the base satisfied and being able to win. So I tell any artist on the rise, all of the above.
Yeah, my last question, man. the internet today, man, and artists releasing so much music, man, do you ever feel like you release too much music, or do you feel like you don't release enough music, you know?
I feel like I found a good balance. You know, some people don't release enough. Some people go nuts and release a song a day or a week or whatever. I feel like I found a good balance. My thing is, if I release one full project a year, I'm cool, because I released that project. There's going to be build up going to it. There's going to be singles and videos that drop after it. There may be remixes. There may be different things that go on to play. So the project lives. And I want the project to really, really live. Like, we come from an era where, I mean, shit, Nas was dropping every 2-3 years. Like, he wasn't dropping.
I'll be telling people that all the time.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was spacing the shit out. He'll drop every 2 years. Big drop 3 years later from the first to the second. You know, like, they would space it out. Jay started that every year thing. You know what I mean? Like, they did that. And he talked about doing it on purpose because he wanted to take over and all that, and it was great. But I say all that to say, you let the record live. You let the people get familiar with it. People love it. We in an era now where heads will listen to the album once and be like, yeah, I got it. I heard it. It's dope. I love it. It's a classic. I listened to it once. I'm good. Nah. That's like food in 30 seconds. That's the equivalent. You got to
the greatest thing I ever tasted. Like, no, right. You got to let that shit.
It's amazing. I ate it in 30 seconds. How did you cherish it? You know what I mean? How did you really enjoy it? So that's the equivalent. You can't listen to my shit in one day and get it. There is no way. There's no way. I don't listen to my shit in one day and get it. And I wrote it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't.
I say this, man. I'm going to be honest, brother. Where you at in your career and the catalog that you built up, as much as I love you and I love your music, brother, yo, you can release something just once a year and I'm good. You have gave me so much, brother.
Yeah.
Everything after music for my friends is just it's a bonus. Right. Like, you've already built up you was a legend. Like I say this, I use this, you're a basketball lover. I use this analogy. Use you in this analogy, like I would say LeBron James. LeBron James was a Hall of Famer 10 years ago.
Yeah,
brother, you've been a legend since music and my friends solidified you forever. Everything that you did was amazing, but that's, in my opinion, that project solidified you on a Mount Rushmore, and everything else after that has been phenomenal. But if you stop making music, would I be disappointed? Yes, but to be honest, brother, you gave me so much, man. Right. You gave me so much from 2007 to 2015. I'm good, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, no, it's real. It's real.
And I say that, man, because to be honest, man, a lot of artists, man, they have to do that. They have to keep, because their music is like cotton candy. It doesn't sit with you.
That's real.
Your music, like you said, it sits with you, man. Like you, Rock Marciano, those Griselda boys, man. Like your album, when you release an album, it's gonna last me to the next year, to 2 years from now. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good with the Catalyst team, and like I said, man, when you release a celebration of us, I was good up until Retropolitan. I was straight.
Right.
I was good. I wasn't like I'm not like, yo, when's Scott? You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Would I like you to release something? I'm not gonna complain. But to be honest, man,
your stomach was full, yeah.
You gave like the Pedalers theme, that was enough for me. That got me full. Celebration for Us, that got me full. Retropolitan, that got me full. The 2 EPs that you dropped last year, that got me full, brother.
Yeah, that's real. I appreciate that.
And with that being said, brother, it's been an honor, man. Like I said, man, thank you for blessing the platform, man.
Yeah,
brother, just keep doing what you're doing, man. You are a legend. Folks who know, they know.
Yeah.
If you, like I say, man, you are your favorite. What they say? What's that term? They say your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I sleep at night, because I know the people who know, they know. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not in your top whatever, it's only because you don't know. Once you know, once you get hit to it, once you press play for a while, you're like, oh nah, son is in there. Son is in there. You know what I mean? Like, you know what it is. And I appreciate that, man. And I appreciate you taking the time, You know, I know we ran over, which is, you know, it's all good. You know, we got the 2 hours out of me, so we good. But I appreciate you taking the time, man. You know, the excitement and the appreciation is all coming through from the way you kicking it. And man, it hits the heart, man. Like it ain't lost, it ain't pushed away or you know, disregarded or anything, man. Like I appreciate you 150%. It's people like you that make all of it worth it. You know, you go to work every day. That's the appreciation of, yo, this is why I go to work every day, because of people like you. So it's all love, man. I appreciate that. And I want to end it just by saying all the brilliant things is coming soon. You know, it's wrapped up. I'm in the mixing phase right now. I'm in the final phase of mixing. It's wrapped up, and it's a fantastic, man. I never took this long to make an album.
Wow.
What's the longest you ever
took?
A couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, in celebration of us was like 4 months. Everything else, man. Well, music for my friends was like 4 or 5 months. Any type of like collabo albums are The Easy Truth was 9 days. Retropolitan was 11 days. It's just no bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
crazy.
Yeah, the Retropolitan was 11 days. Huh?
What's your favorite? What's your three favorite projects that you've released?
Favorite kid, man. Definitely in celebration of us, for sure. Retropolitan is high up there. The Easy Truth is high up there. Music for My Friends, Dream Deferred, Great Debater.
Let me scratch that question. I'm gonna scratch that question because, like you said, man, it's like picking your favorite kid, bro.
Yeah, for me though, Milestones, of course, and Celebration of Us is high up there. When I did that, I had this goal, and the way I described it at the time was sometimes you have a painting, you have an idea for a painting. If you're an artist and you're looking at this blank canvas and you go, yo, man, I'm gonna put some blue right there. I'm gonna put some green right there. I'm gonna put some yellow, some red, some orange, some pink. You know exactly where you want to put everything before you start painting. When you paint, if you nail it the exact way you had the vision of in your head, it's a grand slam. And that's what happened with that. I knew what I wanted to do. I had the vision of what I wanted that album to be. And I hit the nail exactly the way I wanted. Like, the way I saw me hitting that nail, bang, I hit the nail exactly the way I wanted to hit it. For that album to be a representation of Black people, Black pride, the plight of Black folk, Black power, the pitfalls that we have fallen into as Black people, the highs and lows, that I wanted to make the blackest album I could make.
You accomplished that.
Without putting on, you know, without, you're gonna put on a dashiki just to oversell it. Like, nah, like, you know, I wanted to make something that represented Black folk, Black culture, the highs and lows of it, the things that we've done to ourselves to fall, the things that have been done to us to fall, and the things that we've done to rise up out and succeed. And that's what I did with that album. So that album is extremely near and dear to me. That one, man, it just takes, when I press play on that, it just takes me somewhere.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Like I said, man, your entire catalog is just amazing, man. Brother, I love what you have accomplished, man. I love everything that you represent. You know, you have really broke the mold as far as MCs, man. You definitely have shown another light, man, as far as being able to balance multiple sides, man, as far as in this genre that we love called hip hop, man. I've never seen anything like this before, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm honored, man. I'm honored to be looked at in that light. You know, I just set out when I was younger, up until now and beyond. I just set out to make the best music I could make. It wasn't about anything else. It wasn't about achieving, you know, all this bread. I mean, of course, I love bread. I'm from Brooklyn, but you know, if this was a money grab, I could have did things a lot differently. You know, I was in situations where I turned down bread. I was in situations where I turned down opportunities because they didn't fit the long-term goal of what I had in mind for my legacy and the art that I wanted to put into the world and the way I wanted to be remembered. When I say, all right, I'm done, I'm never picking up a pen again, I'm good, I'm an old man, I'm whatever, I'm going to my son's high school graduation, whatever it might be, but I'm like, yo, I'm done. You know, the legacy I leave behind, you know, and just the art I want to contribute to the world. And man, 30, 40 years from now, people going on Discogs and being like, yo, I had to grab that joint the same way I go grab an old Lee Morgan joint now, like 30, 40 years from now. Yo, I get this Skyzoo joint. I couldn't find it. Yo, that the way that shit touched me back in the day and da-da-da. Yo, my dad grew up on Skyzoo and he passed it on to me, and now I'm listening. Like, that's what I do it for. I do it for the art to last forever, you know?
Yeah, you're one of those type of artists, man. Like I said, what you put out, man, is timeless, man. And I think 30, 40 years, like you just said, man, it's your legacy, man, and what you've accomplished. It's gonna live on, man. So with that being said, brother, anything else like you would like to add, man? I know that you mentioned, you know, you got a project, man. Where can they find you on social media? Where can they find your music?
Twitter at Skyzoo, Instagram at Skyzoo the writer. My music is everywhere, you know, iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, Bandcamp, wherever you get music is there. There's no streaming service that I'm not on. Yeah, and I'm active on social media in the sense where if you holler, that's me hitting you back. You know, I don't have a manager. I manage myself by choice, you know, so there's nobody tweeting or posting for me. You know, it's all me. So if you holler, that's me hitting you back, whether it's about business, whether you showing me some love, whatever, that's me. And yeah, and shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all for putting this together. You know, it's been a blast.
Thank you, brother, man. I appreciate this opportunity, and I'll need you to get back with that playlist, man. I'm looking forward to that, man.
You know what? Yeah, I think I'm gonna mess around this weekend. I think I'm gonna mess around this weekend. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that, man. So look, brother, it's been an honor, man. Thank you again, brother. You have a good night and stay blessed, man.
Thank you, man. Likewise.